Welcome back to our second episode of Turning Pain into Purpose. Today we're talking about creating a legacy. Last time we talked about taking the first steps of finding purpose after loss. Today we're going to go even deeper. One of the hardest parts of grief is the loss of the future. When we lost Chrissy, 2021, my therapist assisted me in recognizing that we not only lost Chrissy, that I not only lost Chrissy, that I lost a part of the future. Losing part of the future is very daunting because we look to the future for our hopes, our dreams, to create our memories. But when you lose your future, there is a vast hole that's there. Grieving a future that you do not get, for me specifically, it means that I'm grieving being a grandparent. It means I'm grieving Chrissy's wedding, grieving her receiving her master's degree. It means me grieving any of those celebratory moments with her. In my mind, I can imagine what they would be like. However, I have to settle with the reality that they will not happen. In your mind, you almost substitute what that future might look like. Grieving the future is a secondary loss. I think starting the foundation has really helped me because it has allowed me to create the legacy and to carry on Chrissy's name, her humanitarian efforts, her philanthropic beliefs, just her way that she loved and carried on her thoughts about humanity and how important people are to each other. So it's allowed me to almost breathe life into her in a different way and to have a different relationship with her. Even though she's not physically here, I can still have a relationship with her. When you select the legacy that you're going to create and carry on your child's legacy, if that's what you want to do, big or small, as we've talked about before, it allows you to kind of breathe life into something else. And then when you're breathing life into this secondary opportunity, continuing their name, their persona, who they are, what they believed in, it then allows you to pay it forward into someone else. And then you're also allowing the next person that's the recipient of that storytelling and that activity to do the very same thing. I know now, because I've been doing this for almost 4 years, that creating a nonprofit is a big step. And I know that now more than I can ever imagine. And so that may not be the right path, or it could be the right path. Community supports you so many times in so many ways. So if that's something you want to do, don't be afraid. Dive deep into the community, your friends, your family, to help you if you want to create a nonprofit. It is doable. But then you can also plant a tree in your loved one's name. So you can plant several rose bushes in that person's name if that's one of their favorite flowers is a rose bush. So you can adopt that community garden and support them that way. They are part of a sorority or a fraternity. You can support that sorority or fraternity if they have a 5K or a golf tournament. You can participate in that event as a sponsor on their behalf, and then generate a team in their behalf and wear t-shirts with your loved one's name on it and celebrate with a team effort, raising money and awareness and advocacy for that sorority's cause. There's so many ways. And let's not forget about art. Art is such an amazing way that you can actually have a piece of art created in your loved one's memory and maybe ask the town where they grew up in to actually place that art in the community. I've seen at Chrissy's high school, there's a bench at her high school for another student that did not survive, that passed as well. And so that's another lovely way of creating kind of a memorial area where the students at that high school or that school can actually enjoy that space there and celebrate every day at lunchtime and just sit in that special space as well. So there's so many ways, so many wonderful ways. Being the executive director of the Monet Richardson Community Foundation, you do have lots of concerns on a daily basis from an operations standpoint. Will I be able to financially support the causes that we say we want to support? Will I be able to manage the mission and the vision that we have ahead of us? Of course, you're looking at strategic planning, so many different things. And so you can become overwhelmed, but just that moment when I become overwhelmed, I say a combination of God and our angel Chrissy. I think they have a conversation And they realize that this is my mind and what I say to myself, and it really helps me. That I feel like God and Chrissy are talking to each other, and they're looking at me and they're saying, she's getting stressed. She's getting stressed. And I feel like they then say, well, let's send her a stress reliever. And they send me an angel, or they send me just a day, a moment of joy, a relief, a celebratory moment for me to say, okay, I can do this one more day. You will feel challenges. You will feel I made the wrong decision in doing this project, or starting this nonprofit, or putting together this program. You will feel that. That's going to be inevitable. You'll feel it more than one time. But just know that you have to lean on your community. Lean on other experts. Lean on other executive directors. Lean on board members who support you. You will not know everything and have every answer, but don't be afraid to ask. You can even post something on social media and just ask the question, and people will respond. Sometimes you get more responses than you can manage, but just know that when you make that decision to do it, that's the first step. And if you change midstream and you say, okay, this is not the vision, or this is not where I thought I wanted to go, and then you change, as I did when I changed the name of the foundation from the Monet Richardson Foundation to the Monet Richardson Community Foundation, and had to redo all of my paperwork. That built my confidence in knowing that I can make a change. I can make a mistake, and there's no mistake you cannot get over. Remember, it's not about impressing people. It's about the love that you have for the person that you're remembering. It's about you celebrating that person. It's about their memories. And when you're in that moment of stress, sometimes just seek a place to get quiet and allow that person to almost visit you in a sense, and allow them to re-energize you, allow them to engulf you in their love, and just know that this is the reason why you're doing this. Oftentimes when you're creating these legacies and these opportunities to remember them, it can become overwhelming, but remember that the love that you have for that person is first and foremost, and that's what you want everyone to know and experience and feel as well. So if you've been thinking about doing something to honor your loved one, don't worry about the steps. Just get started. And you can start small. Write down what made them special to you. This is a moment for you to reflect, to remember, to embrace. So just write down those special moments about that person. Think about their passions. What was most important to them? What made them excited about life? That's part of some of your first steps. I suggest you start with a simple goal. When I realized I wanted to do something special for Chrissy, I remembered what she was compassionate about, which was sports. She was a year-round athlete. So I knew that I wanted to do an athletic event or something athletic. I knew that she also did the backpack programs for the Y. How can I tie those two things together as her passion? So she started a program when she was at the Y, but I really wanted something that had an official opportunity for donors, volunteers, the community to get together. My first steps was East Chapel Hill High School. That's her high school. So I want to do something at her high school. But then I also want to partner with where she started the backpack program at, which was the Y. I reached out to Randy Smith, who hired Chrissy at the Y, and he loved her dearly, and asked him, could we support them with the backpacks? Did they still need help? He said, we do need help. At East Chapel Hill High School, I talked with the principal, asked him, could we actually do a 5K event at their school? And they said, sure, how can we support? So there we had an event that could fund the backpack, and we had a recipient group of students at the Y who could receive the backpacks. I would say have one or two people as your sounding boards. Smart, compassionate, friendly, kind, community-driven folks, friends, family members, whomever you select, but just have one or two people who can be your sounding board and who can help listen to what your thoughts are. Hopefully someone who knew your loved one as well, who knew your child. So just start to ask them questions. Ask them, would they help you? Would they get involved? Ask them, would they be a part of your team? You want someone who's going to be honest with you to answer those tough questions with you. So just have a couple people who are going to be available to support you. You do want to start small and then grow if you like. They will help you do that. There's no wrong or right way to do this. The main thing is to remember that you're doing this because it matters to you. I feel like the 5K event helps me honor Chrissy's legacy because she started a backpack program at the Y, and being able to do the 5K event allows us to fund the backpack program. And so without the 5K event, we practically could not do the backpack program nor the academic scholarships that we provide as well. For our fundraising goal for this year, our goal is $20,000. We have a few expenditures as any event planning does, but we try to keep that as slim as possible. $20,000 allows us to provide 300 backpacks filled with school supplies and also academic scholarships as well. Without the 5K, we will not be able to provide these backpacks, school supplies, and academic scholarships for these kids to continue their education. It costs $40 to register for the 5K. If you're 18 or younger, it costs $20 to register for the 5K. If you go to our website, www.Monet Richardson Community Foundation, there's a 5K page. Click on the link and it will take you to the 5K registration page. So if you don't live in North Carolina, or even if you live here and you just can't make the 5K because of other obligations, there is an opportunity to do what we call a stay-in donation. You can also make a donation from our main website, Monet Richardson Community Foundation, or you can make a donation directly from the Run Sign Up site. So the link for the 5K is in our bio. Legacy is an opportunity to continue your loved ones' passions and beliefs and to share with the world who they were and also who they are. And I always say who they are because when you're creating that legacy, they are still here. And so legacy is an opportunity to fulfill their dreams. On the 5K, I have a planning committee. I laugh sometimes at my committee because when we're on Zoom and I say, guys, what sponsors did you get today? And sometimes they drop their head because they may not have a sponsor. But we always try to make it a fun, engaging opportunity for planning the 5K because it is work. It is work. But so I always want to make sure that our planning committee is enjoying the experience to help plan the 5K, but always also know that it is a serious commitment as a volunteer to help do this work. Community work is not easy, but it's necessary. This is what I always tell my planning committee team. Wherever you spend money and do business, always ask them to support you because you're supporting their business. And so I always share with them and encourage them to make their first conversation and ask and storytelling happen with people that they already know. And those folks are going to then do a deep dive into the people that they know. And that is what community is about. And so don't feel like you have to ask people that you don't know. Start first at home, asking people who are part of your family and your community. Last night I was posting for Chrissy's birthday on Facebook, and my post was getting a little long. And I even said to myself, I said, oh, I feel like I'm journaling. And even on Facebook, it's not an official journaling opportunity, but it can be a way for you to express yourself with your Facebook family. That's what we call Facebook baby boomers. That's what we call it, our Facebook family. I have a journal that I actually started in 2021 when Chrissy passed. And sometimes I look back into the journal at past dates in 2022 and so on, just to see where I was then and what was on my mind and how I was feeling versus where I'm at now. Chrissy has a brother named John. So sometimes when I'm journaling to Chrissy from John and I both about our day or our recent experience, or sometimes I'm journaling her for advice or just telling her something that happened between the two of us that day. And you can also journal about, when we talk about loss, you can journal and talk about, recently I thought about Chrissy as having a child. Journaling also helps with that possibility of forgetting, that you're documenting, that you're having little footprints in the sand, so to speak, and memories that you can reflect and go back to, because we will forget some things, but just jot down some of those most important things that you don't want to forget. You do not have to do this all at once. Just know that I'm here to help and support, share my experience, be your sounding board, listen to you, and go down that path in your journey with you. You will sometimes take a left, sometimes take a right, sometimes go straight, sometimes you'll do a 360. And there's no wrong or right way. It's the way that you need to experience your journey and create the legacy that means the most to you and the loved one that you're remembering. In the next episode, we're going to talk about the power of community and healing. If today's episode spoke to you, I would love to hear about how you are honoring your loved ones in the comments below. Always feel free to send me a message or share your story, because every story deserves to be told.